Welcome to a new story arc for Critical Hit, Punch All Nazis. Thank you for downloading and checking us out this week. I am Steven Schleicher. As we head into this week's episode, I'm going to do things a little bit differently going forward. Instead of waiting till the very end of the episode to announce our patron members who are making appearances in the show, I think I'm going to give you the shout out up front. So I'm not going to tell you who the parts they are because I still want you to listen for those names, but be on the lookout for Kayla Brown, Crystal Wiles, John P. Copa, Courtney Phillips, and Corey Graham. Thank you, everybody, for your support and becoming NPCs in our game. If you would like to get your name to appear as an NPC in future episodes of Critical Hit, all you need to do is become one of our associate producers at patreon.com/major spoilers. We have a lot of adventures still to get through, and the list of patrons is getting longer, but this is your chance to immortalize yourself in our adventures. Patreon.com/major spoilers. And if you want to get a behind the scenes look at what's going on, don't forget to check out the GM Roundtable. It's our exclusive discussion where Dr. Brad Will and I sit down and we discuss the most recent episode. We talk about what went right, what went wrong, and I start to make devious plans for what's coming up in the future. Will they happen? Will they not happen? How will the players change the narrative of the story? You can only get that over at patreon.com/major spoilers. Thank you once again to our patrons who are appearing in this week's Critical Hit episode. And now, let's get on with it. Critical Hit Punch All Nazis takes place in the early days of World War II and combines high adventure with cosmic horror. All dates, locations, and historical events are thrown out the window in order to create a fun story. So don't put too much thought into historical inaccuracies. All accents are done poorly, but with love, and no disrespect is intended. From the unredacted archives of Majestic, the diary of Eleanor Ellie Hawthorne, age 14. Diary entry, December 27th, 1939. Dear Diary, the journey from Albany to the fabled town of Arkham has been nothing short of an odyssey through a forgotten chapter of time. As I pen these words, the world outside is held in the icy grip of a New England winter, and the Miskatonic Valley lays sprawled out beneath a pallid sky, a landscape etched in frost and silence. This morning, we left behind the snow-draped streets of Albany. The roads bordered by twisting silhouettes of ancient trees led into the hearts of the land that feels untouched by the passage of modern days. There's a profound sense of isolation here, accentuated by the monochrome blanket of January snow. The bare, gnarled branches of oats and elms cast eerie shadows on the snowy canvas, creating patterns that seemed almost like silent, cryptic messages. The air was filled with sharp scents of pine, mingling with an underlying hint of decay, the scent of old, forgotten things. These woods, they whisper of times long past, holding secrets that seem to murmur with the wind. Occasionally, the desolate expanse was broken by the sight of a quaint hamlet or a solitary farmhouse. Smoke wafted lazily from their chimneys, standing as testaments to the quiet, enduring lives within. The faces of the people we passed were like pages from an old storybook, etched with the resilience born of living in these remote reaches. As Arkham drew near, the Miskatonic River became a constant, icy companion beside the road. Its waters, sluggish and burdened with ice, spoke of the weight of history, of stories untold and secrets kept. The valley, renowned for this ancient river, seemed to hold its breath, as if in wait for something known only to the river itself. An intriguing moment punctuated our journey, casting a brief yet vivid color on the monochromatic tapestry of the valley. As we navigated to a particularly serpentine stretch of road, we were briskly passed by a shiny Cadillac luxury car that was a stark contrast to the rural backdrop. This was a luxurious vehicle, sleek and polished, cutting through the snow-covered landscape with an urgency that was almost palpable. What caught my attention most, however, were its passengers. 4 individuals, as eclectic as a group as one could imagine, sat within. At a fleeting glance, they shared no visible thread of connection save for a shared intense determination in their demeanor. One man, clad in attire that spoke of elegance and adventure, glanced out the window with a steely gaze. Beside him, driving the vehicle, was a shorter man, shrouded in a heavy coat, whose posture suggested a readiness for anything. In the back sat a man whose appearance suggested scholarly pursuits, yet his face betrayed a crazed, nervous anticipation of what lay ahead. His eyes, wide and darting, seemed to reflect turbulent thoughts, as if he were simultaneously drawn to and fearful of their destination. Next to him was another whose flamboyant style seemed to defy the dreariness of the winter around us. I believe he may have been a star of the moving pictures. Their presence was an enigma, so varied in their personas yet unified in their fervent journey towards Arkham. Their car disappeared around a bend, leaving me with a lingering curiosity. Who were they? What urgent purpose drove them through the Miskatonic Valley with such haste? The brief encounter left me pondering about the stories and secrets that each passenger carried with them, each seemingly a piece of a puzzle headed toward the mysterious heart of Arkham. Entering Arkham was like stepping into another era. The Gothic architecture cast long shadows in the fading light, and the prestigious halls of Mikatonic University loomed over the town with an air of solemn knowledge. An unsettling feeling crept over me, since that in this town the past was not truly past, and forgotten things stirred in the shadows. Driving through Arkham's snow-laden streets, it was impossible to escape the sensation of crossing a threshold into a realm where legend and reality intertwine. The Miskatonic Valley is not just a geographic location, it is a crossroads of hidden histories and unspeakable truths, a place where the veil between worlds seem perilously thin. As I retire for the night, I cannot shake off the feeling that this valley, and Arkham itself, is a character in its own right, a silent observer, a keeper of arcane lore. We journey not through a physical landscape, but through the very heart of myth and mystery. Good night, diary. A world of ancient dreams awaits beyond the veil of sleep. You have, your car has entered the city of Arkham, Massachusetts, Rob.
We're specifically headed to the university, right?
Do we need a place to stay first?
It might be worth it.
Yeah, where does one find lodging here?
Well, probably downtown or maybe in the East Town area is where I would look.
Okay.
Yeah,
there are several places that you could go. In downtown Arkham, of course, you could find some fancier hotels. As you start to move out to East Town, things are going to start to show a little bit more decay than, say, the rest of the city. The Merchant District, probably not a place you guys want to hang out. And of course, North Side is where the train station is. So there's probably going to be some mid-level residence home or hotels at that place as well. But you head downtown. And of course, the Gothic architecture is something that feels like it hasn't been changed or updated, and any kind of Art Deco or Art Nouveau architecture in this town would be like almost verboten by the residents because they seem so locked into this time period. You pull up to what looks like an ancient hotel made of brick. It's got green awnings out on the front. It's got a neon sign that runs the side of the building that reads hotel. This is not one of the tallest buildings in Arkham, but it is 6 stories high, and it looks sturdily built. The windows are all solid. You don't see any of them that are taped up, and you can probably imagine that this place looks relatively safe.
Relatively being the operative word.
Probably.
Cozy.
Yeah.
I'll go in, get settled.
Oh, hello. May I help you, gentlemen?
Yeah, we'd like a couple rooms.
Yes, if you would mind filling out the registry.
Sure.
Do you put your names down, or do you put false names down?
We'll put aliases down just in case.
All right. So what do you write down?
Unless Doc, like nobody in the short walk between where we parked and here, nobody's like, "Hey, Doc, good to see you again."
No, the streets. The weird thing is about Arkham is that there are people on the streets, but as the late afternoon progresses, people tend to try to stay off the streets. And the weird thing is, people in Arkham tend to not want to look one another in the eyes.
Okay.
Have we made it a habit to use aliases when checking before?
We've done it before, definitely.
Mm-hmm. I don't feel like there's any necessarily benefit to using our names, but
okay, then we'll do our regular names.
Okay, so you pin your names in there. Oh yes, Mr. Arbogast, we are very familiar with you. We will give you one of our nicest rooms. And he slides over a couple of keys, and for just one moment, he looks at you, Doc, with almost a sense of recognition, but then he kind of just shakes his head like, no, I must be imagining things, and gives you your keys, and someone comes and takes your bags and takes you upstairs.
Like, do I recognize that guy? Oh yeah, he killed me in Brussels.
Your rooms are beautiful. They are, for the time period and location that you are at, this room has been kept astonishingly well. It is the walls have what look like relatively recent paint. The beds are nice. You don't see any depressions, like the springs or the mattress have gone. There is definitely a water closet down the hallway, but there are pitchers and bowls in your rooms if you want to wash up. How many rooms? Did everybody get their own room? Are you sharing one room, or are you doing two rooms again?
Yeah, I figured we'd do 2 rooms. That way everybody has a buddy.
Okay. Yeah. And who are you bunking with, Bug Eater?
Who haven't I bunked with yet?
I was going to say, we've been
pretty much, yeah.
All right. We'll go with Doc.
Okay. And so Carlos and Valentino will bunk in the other room.
Room 1. Is it like an ensuite situation, or is it like 2 separate rooms?
No, there's a water closet down the hallway. Even, these hotels are old enough to where you would still have a shared bathroom accommodations.
They date back the 1840s.
Probably this hotel, if you look at the cornerstone when you're leaving the hotel, you'll see that it says that the hotel was built in 1901.
Ew.
And the name of the hotel is the Hotel Artemis. So you're all sitting in your hotel rooms, bouncing on your bed springs, listening to the wind blow outside. It is frigid. It is wintertime. The big storm has passed after many days. And so that's why you were able to leave after Christmas, a few days after Christmas. And it only took you were able to make good time, even though the roads were a little bit slick. You passed a couple of cars on your way into town. But for the most part, it was a very pleasant journey. You had to stop twice for gas and for lunch. But, late afternoon, you are here.
What is the 1939 equivalent of a bag of sour gummy worms?
Like
there's probably a licorice station. Yeah, there's probably a licorice or a hard candy of some kind. Yeah. Peppermints, probably.
Chewing tobacco.
Could Valentino and Shear, if Doc were to holler from the room that we are sharing?
Oh yeah, you guys are you can either be right next to each other or across the hall.
Cool. I want to see if I can call everybody together for a moment.
Yeah, we'll head over.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're messing with the heat. It's got a radiator, I'm sure.
Yeah, there's a radiator, so your window is open.
Yep, messing with the radiator and the window and the window and the radiator. And he seems to be a little bit more fidgety and maybe a little bit more nervous, but not kind of the wild-eyed nervous, more of a horrifying, calm nervous. And he kind of turns to everyone after messing with the radiator and says, "So, we are in Arkham. We are in Massachusetts, and I feel like there's some things you may need to know. Some things about me that I feel like I can definitely trust you fellas with, but I don't like necessarily people knowing. And what it really comes down to is, well, we're here, and since we're here, you're probably going to hear stories about me and some things that may have happened in my past. And do you guys remember when we were training and Clyde looked at me and said that he was just going to call me Doc because if I wasn't a Doc, he didn't know what a Doc was?
Yeah, sounds familiar.
Yeah. Well, you may recall me being kind of uncomfortable with that, and the reason for that is I am not a doc. I'm not a doctor. I'm a medic. I am trained, but I never finished my education, and I am not at all, in fact, a doctor, and it's something that I've tried to keep from everyone, especially my father. But it will almost certainly come up, especially here now in this place. And so I wanted to let you know that some of the things that you are likely going to hear may have an air of truth about them, and some of them may not. And Mikatonic University is a very, very strange place. And so hey, what do you guys want to talk about?
Yeah, that's okay. I'm not going to say that this comes entirely as a shock. You really don't handle a gun like somebody who's sworn a Hippocratic oath.
That is true.
Yeah, don't worry too much about it. We've been traveling together for a while.
That's
We'll let you take the lead here.
Yeah, this seems to be more or less your hometown.
Well, but it's my town. I don't know how much of it is home anymore, but
fair enough.
Yeah. This is going to be interesting. So we need what's the name of the gentleman we're looking for? It completely slips my mind, and I closed all the windows.
You are looking for, if you're talking about going to Mikatonic, you would need to go talk to Dr. Henry Armitage, who's the director of the Orne Library at Mikatonic University.
Okay. Dr. Armitage. So, what time of day is it? Is it
It's late afternoon.
Boy, I wish I was an extremely eloquent 14-year-old girl right now.
You know how 14-year-old girls are when they're writing their diaries.
I know, right? But I've never.
They try to show off, and then they hit their sophomore year in high school, and everything becomes, "Dear diary, I hate life. I hate everything. I hate Bobby. Bobby is cruel. I don't like anybody. Leave me alone, diary."
My teen angst bullcrap has a body count.
And then they turn 18, and it's suddenly like, "Dear diary, I'm so sorry everything that I did to you before. Please forgive me."
Yeah, we've all been there.
Well, do we want to go find this person today, or should we wait till the morning?
That's what I was wondering. Is it late enough in the afternoon that we might be able to catch someone at like the end of the day? And
Oh, sure. You could catch somebody at the end of the day. It's only going to take you maybe 10, 15 minutes to get over to the university and another 5-minute walk across campus to get to the Orne Library.
Mm-hmm. Is that on the upper campus?
The Orne Library is kind of like in the center of campus.
Ooh. I feel like there might be a possible, I don't want to say psychological advantage, but maybe it might be worth seeing if we can catch Dr. Armitage at the end of his day. And perhaps if there is anything he needs to tell us, he might have had a frustrating day or had a lot of students, and maybe his defenses will be down and he'll let us know something. And then we'll all be able to leave Mikatonic and not need to come back.
All right. Well, we can go see him. What? So you know this person, right?
I do, yes. Yes.
And your relationship to him is person you've met, colleague.
Yeah. Actually, he is an older colleague? Question mark? I mean,
so are you wanting me to give you some information here, or?
Well, you guys know about the tome that I read, Dr. West's.
I don't think they do.
You don't? I haven't told you? Oh.
I don't think so.
You don't know? Oh, well. Do you any of you know the name Herbert West?
Who?
Is he an academic?
Yes. And
then maybe, especially if he did anything with languages. Dutch might know.
I don't know if he did anything with languages. West's focuses were more.
Yeah, West. Yeah. Go ahead.
They were a little more visceral.
So he's like a medical doctor type person. Yes,
in a manner of speaking. I think it would have been the teens. He would have been here 25 odd years ago.
Yeah, 25 years from where you guys are at. Yeah, so it'd be like 1917, 1918.
Mm-hmm. So, Dr. Armitage is aware of my past, and Dr. Armitage did let me have access to his library and his library. I found a book, and the book was it was actually written by Dr. West, and Dr. West had some peculiar proclivities, and it's probably the main reason why I am not, in fact, a medical doctor. Nonetheless, well, you know how sometimes when we see the strange things happening and we see some terrible things, and the terrible things don't necessarily seem like right, and sometimes people are very frightened, and sometimes I'm just like, I've seen worse. That would have been because of the volume. Yes. So, when we were in Egypt, do you remember the ichor, the formula that they were using that was reanimating the creatures?
Who was using the Nazis?
The Nazis, yeah.
Okay.
He's specifically referring to when you found the Blower crystal mine and you fought that big undead monstrosity.
Oh, and okay.
I was almost certain that whatever that serum, whatever that was, I have seen it and possibly used it. But yes, so Dr. West was attempting to reanimate dead tissue, dead creatures. And so Dr. Armitage is not likely to be particularly friendly, but I think that we might be able to approach him with the information that we have. I feel like his background, especially his background before academia, may actually, if we say the certain S word that they tell us not to say, that it might pique his interest. There are rumors of that he himself has encountered the Shoggoths previously. Yes.
Okay. So Armitage, is he American?
Yes.
Okay.
Would it be maybe beneficial for one of the rest of us to make the approach?
I don't know. I don't know.
You don't know where he's at right now. I mean, as far like emotionally, where you're concerned, you don't know where you guys left it.
I don't know. The issue that I have is, no, I don't think he's going to respond very, very cordially to me, but I also don't know that he's going to respond to anyone that he does not necessarily know to. For all the possible bad blood, we have shared some experiences and some things that he might be more likely, even if he's still, if he's still displeased, he might be more likely to speak to me. I don't know. I feel like it's worth a chance if we were to go together as a unit.
So he knows you've read the book, right? And maybe try to use it.
He is very aware. Yes.
Okay. Well, we can pry with that. Like, if we show up and we're like, hey, there's some Nazis that are trying to get a hold of things.
Exactly.
I mean, he will trust that we know what we're talking about just from the fact that you have already experienced some of those issues.
I believe so, yes.
Maybe we can approach it that way.
All right. I think we should.
Okay.
I think we should go this afternoon. I feel like it might be something where we can catch him at a point where he's more likely to speak to us.
All right. Well, then let's get going. I guess light armament, unless you feel very confident that you can hide something bigger.
I feel like walking into the middle of an active university might be a concealed pistol kind of situation.
Yeah. Certainly in 1939, yes. Today, no. Do not take a concealed weapon to any campus.
However, it might not be a bad idea to maybe have something in the trunk should there become a need.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Throw a bunch of junk in the trunk and off you guys go down to Mikatonic University.
Put a photo seeker in the trunk.
Tell you what, there are a lot of people paying attention to the car as it is driving through Arkham. It is certainly not the type of car that you see every day in the city. There certainly are, nice cars, but they're usually driven by the mayor, the head of the bank, the richest man in town, the head of the industrial park. Those kinds of people are driving these big fancy cars. Most people are driving modest cars or less. And most of the time people are relying on public transportation. So to see this luxury Cadillac, what kind of car is it again, Rob?
Cadillac V16.
Cadillac V16 from 1935. That is something that's going to catch people's attention.
Perhaps we went too fancy.
You know, it's all right. You drive for a little bit. Doc gives directions, and very soon you find a parking spot there on College Street. And right there on the corner is the Orne Library. So you're able to exit. There's the main administration building there right in front of you. And right next to that is the Orne Library, a massive 5-story tall library that even you, Carlos, are very familiar with the reputation that the Orne Library has in the region as a repository of knowledge. It has everything from just about everything one can imagine, but it is particularly well known for its occult collection. Supposedly, the Orne Library contains a copy of nearly every single occult tome known to exist. You've heard that it has a copy of the Necronomicon. There are only 2 other copies that exist. That one is something that people seem quite keen about. And if you pay attention to any of that stuff, you might have heard that whispered while you were on campus, Doc. Or Carlos, did you go to Miskatonic, or did you you're just familiar with Miskatonic?
Yeah, just familiar. I think we Carlos was originally going to have gone there, but then a bunch of Miskatonic stuff came up, and I didn't say anything, so we ended up with him probably going to a university in New York. But because he was studying languages, he probably ordered some books if there's some sort of in fact, interscholastic thing specifically from the Orne Library, or may have even driven down here to study a tome that couldn't leave the library because it was too old, right? It's
if Carlos drove down to Miskatonic University to check out languages, you may have very well indeed met Dr. Henry Armitage, because he specializes in cryptography, debate, European literature, and languages.
Well, then probably, or possibly it was one of those things where I showed up, the book was there waiting for me, and I'm like, where's Dr. Armitage? It's he's out today. I was like, dang it.
Yeah. But, either one of those.
Okay, by reputation, then I'll know him.
Yeah, sure. So this building looks very familiar to you. Bug Eater, you may have gone to the University of Nebraska a couple of times, but any building at the University of Nebraska pales in comparison to the size and stature and ominous feelings that you get when you look up at the Orne Library. It is late enough in the day that the lights are on, and Doc, you can see definitely in the window of what you knew as Dr. Armitage's office, the light is on there. As you approach the building, there is a big, giant dog that is sitting on the steps. And as you approach, his head raises up and he sniffs the air. And then he kind of starts to go, "Rrr." He's still kind of laying down. "Rrr." And you can kind of see the hair on his back bristle in parts.
Does he seem to be specifically bristling at us?
More specifically at you, but you know this dog, and most people who are at Miskatonic University know of Napoleon. He is the quote-unquote watchdog that hangs around the Orne Library all the time. There are some, he's a super friendly dog for the most part, but if he senses danger or trouble, he's ready to jump into action. Napoleon would be, what are those mastiffs? He would be a large mastiff dog.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes.
So these are dogs again, people can go look them up, but these are dogs that are the size of horses.
A horse. Yeah.
And horses apparently in this world are the size of, large dogs.
Camels, yeah.
Yeah, no.
So would you rather fight a dog-sized horse or 10 horse-sized dogs?
Yeah, Napoleon, even though he looks old, you can tell that he's still packing the muscle.
Yeah. Plus, mastiffs are naturally wrinkly, so
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
probably looks older than he is.
Mm-hmm.
Also, they'll bite you right in half. It's weird.
Yeah,
only if you provoke them.
Okay, so that looks like we're already having trouble with the locals.
Well, Napoleon has never really liked me. It's probably because I'm Canadian.
I'll look around, like I'll actually just like reach over and like pull open one of like Blisco's pockets and see if he has any food from the trip.
You find a ham sandwich.
My sandwich.
This is diplomatic outreach. I'm sure the brigadier will compensate your sandwich. And
Napoleon sniffs. He sniffs and he kind of takes a little nibble, and then he kind of and almost takes your whole hand as he engulfs the whole sandwich, and basically two chews and swallows it. And then it happens so fast your hand is still outreached that he then looks at you and starts licking your hand.
Oh.
You have made a friend.
All right.
Which is
just
good.
Be a good dog, stay out here. Everybody else in. Let's go.
You enter the library, and of course, there's stairs that take you up to the various levels. There are, stacks. This is maybe not as impressive as the Paris library that you spent a great amount of time in, but this is still an impressive library, and it's very old too. I mean, this probably Arkham is one of the early settlements in the United States. It dates back all the way to the late 1600s when America was still being founded. So Arkham is old. This library has probably been here easily since 1698. And so it's big, it's massive, and it is impressive. As you walk up the steps to the main floor, you can see off to the side a directory. You can see that it says Dr. Henry Armitage, Director of the Orne Library, Office 512. You can also see Miss Kayla Brown, Chief Law Librarian. Her office is in 510. And then you also see Crystal Wiles, who is the Reference Librarian, and she is on the first floor. You see many staff people walking around, and of course, even though it is in between the break time, the library is still very busy. There are still students around campus. Not everybody gets to go home during the holidays. And so there are probably a dozen or 24 people that you can see on this first floor, browsing the stacks, looking at the newspapers, sitting down and listening to the record player. And there are stairs that, you can go upstairs or go wherever you want. It's a library.
I mean, do they have some sort of like front desk that isn't a library front desk for like finding books?
No. I mean, they have just the main library person, that you would see.
Let's just head up.
All right. So you climb the 5 flights of stairs, and of course, as you get higher, obviously the top floor appears to be mostly offices. But there are some reading rooms off to the left and right, and some research rooms. There's also a specialty collections room here on this floor. But towards the middle of the hallway, you see Office 512, and it says on the outside, Dr. Henry Armitage, Director of the Orne Library, Specialist in Cryptography, Debate, European Literature, and Languages. You enter, and this is a two room office. The first room that you enter is a waiting room, and there is a secretary who is typing away on some important letter, I'm sure. And there's a couple of benches along the wall for potential students or guests to sit down on. She looks up at you as you enter, and you can see the nameplate on her desk says Courtney Phillips. May I help you, gentlemen?
Yes, Nicholas Laios. I'm here to see Dr. Armitage.
Do you have an appointment?
I don't have an appointment, but I feel that he's going to want to hear what we have to say.
Oh, it's just that, and she looks at her watch, and then she looks at a large ornate clock on the wall that says 3:15. He's usually not, he's usually occupied at this time. This is when he's in his office, but he's kind of preoccupied.
There's someone else with him?
No. Let's just say that he's older and he needs his rest.
Oh.
And in the afternoons, he's not thinking as clearly.
If you'd be so kind, if you could just let him know that Nicholas Elias is here. I think that this is a situation, and again, I don't want you to get in any trouble, but this is a situation where I feel that he will be interested to hear what I and my colleagues have to say.
Oh, okay. And she gets up and she goes into a door that has... She goes to a door that says Dr. Armitage on the outside. She goes in. About a moment later, she's like, Mr. Elias, Dr. Armitage will see you.
Thank you. I appreciate your help, Miss Phillips. That was very kind of you.
Oh, sure. You've never met her before in your life.
No, I have no idea who this is.
No.
But I'm in full-on academic mode.
All right.
Okay.
So just as a precaution, remember, if you ever have to do any kind of persuasion check, Doc, because you have read from a arcane tome or whatever the thing is, the talent that you have, any kind of persuasion tests are always going to be one higher than everyone else.
That's true.
You enter Dr. Armitage's office, and it is just dark oak that's been polished for decades and decades and decades. There are books all over the shelves. There are books stacked on the floors. There are books that some of you might recognize as just like dictionaries, but there are also some very arcane tomes in here with strange names written in strange languages that some of you don't even understand. Carlos, you can easily tell that there's a Russian one, there is a Latin one, and sitting at the desk is a very old man. He is, gosh, if he weighs 110 pounds, you would be surprised. He probably weighs less than 100 pounds. He is more bone and skin tissue than he is muscle. He has not a lengthy beard, but he does have a bit of a lengthy stubble coming off of his chin, and perched on his nose that is kind of long and kind of bent down are a pair of spectacles. But it's his eyes that really startle most of you, because while one eye looks relatively normal, the other eye kind of bulges out and kind of scans the room constantly, like what's going on. His hair is obviously falling out in places. But that being said, for a man who looks as aged as he does, he's still a very snappy dresser. He is wearing a very nice tweed suit with the patches, the elbow patches. This is a well put together man for somebody who looks like he's about ready to drop. Nicholas, welcome. How is your freshman year going?
It went fine, Doctor. It's been a couple of years since my freshman year.
It seems just like yesterday I saw you into the school for medicine, yes?
Yes, and I've actually spent the last few months in Europe, actually.
Oh, do say Europe, huh?
Mm-hmm. These are my associates. This is Carlos Arbogast.
Carlos Arbogast. Are you familiar with the Arbogast in Albany?
Yes, I am one of the Arbogast in Albany.
Oh, very good. Mm-hmm. One of the boys is coming to see me in a few weeks.
Yes,
needs to borrow a language book.
Yes, to discuss the Kurgan theory. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes, the Kurgan theory. Yes. Go. You're very smart. You know about the Kurgan theory, yes?
Yeah, of course. Sure. I mean, you really distilled it in your essays, so it's a lot easier to follow now.
Yes, good. One of my finest pieces.
Of course, this is Blisco Latak of the Nebraska Lataks. Very, very important family, I believe, in Nebraska.
Agriculture?
Yeah, we come from a farm.
Ah, good. I could tell from your hearty stock.
Thanks.
And of course, Valentino. I've totally forgotten Valentino's name.
Pleasure to meet you.
Just one name, huh? I knew a man with one name once.
What was it?
What they call me.
Oh, okay. I don't remember.
Oh, I have that.
So what brings you to my office this late in the afternoon?
We had encountered, while we were in Europe, some very, very unusual fauna, and we were hoping you might have some insight for us. We were hoping perhaps for some...
I'm not much of an animals man. For that, you should probably go see John Copa.
Well, I'm not sure if it was an animal, or I believe they said that it was called a shoggoth.
And with that, he kind of just stops dead with everything that he's doing. And he's just stops, and it's almost like, did this guy just die?
Doctor?
Where did you hear that name?
We were told its name after we faced one of them.
You faced one? You were not with me.
No, sir. No, a different shoggoth. This one was under the control of the
shoggoths.
Sorry, I apologize. This one was under the control of German military forces.
Germans, you say? What's the Kaiser up to now?
I believe it's the National Socialist Party now, sir. The Nazis in charge.
He picks up the phone. Ingrid, get Warren Rice on the phone. Huh? Oh, that's right. Francis Morgan? Oh, okay. Thank you, Ingrid. And he hangs up the phone. Just as I feared, Francis and Warren have both died. This is terrible news.
Yes, sir. They died a few years ago. It's been a while.
Nicholas, it's so good to see you.
Yeah, through a lot of this, Dutch is just like his eyes will just dart over to Valentino, and then back, and then back to Valentino, and then back.
Yeah. Maybe we should see if there's a better time to come by.
Might be a good idea.
I come back at another time. He opens up his book. Oh, what is this? 1939. And he looks up at you. Elias, what are you doing here? You know you've been banned from this university.
There's the Dr. Armitage.
Yeah.
How dare you show your face here?
It's a matter of some urgency, sir.
After what you've done, I cannot believe that you would be here. What is so urgent that would cause you to trespass on this fine institution?
We believe that the Nazis are using some sort of mystical, arcane forces in the hopes of winning the war, sir.
And what does that have to do with me? Or you, for that matter?
Well, I and my colleagues have been sort of at the center of this for some time, and you are one of the experts on this sort of situation.
What kind of situation?
I believe you said the Shoggoths.
Shoggoths? My God. Not heard Shoggoths in, 20 years.
Unfortunately, we've seen one much more recently.
Really now? I find that hard to believe. We stopped Whately and his crooked scheme decades ago.
We've also faced reanimated creatures of some sort.
Is that your doing?
No, sir, not my doing. But
we caught you dabbling with West's books and his studies. You knew it was forbidden.
I recall, sir, but you may recall that there were extenuating circumstances.
Yeah, something about your girlfriend.
Yes, something. Nonetheless, they have successfully reanimated the dead.
After we kicked West out of this university back in 1918, 1920, something like that, I'd heard he went to Europe to do more of his research, his profane research into reanimating the dead. Wouldn't surprise me he would fall into the hands of those vile people.
We've been tasked with trying to find several artifacts.
What kind of artifacts?
I believe the group is called the Luminaries, but there are a number of artifacts that we believe that the Nazis, in fact, we know that the Nazis are attempting to get their hands on and attempting to use them to win the war by arcane means.
So what is it, Shoggoths or undead?
Yes.
Had a bit of both.
Snake people, too, if you can believe it.
What?
Yes.
And also,
snake people and some ghosts,
demon dogs, and weird
magic,
a night haunt,
and entire
whatever that
deck.
thing that attacked the plane was.
Yeah, that's the one, the gremlin.
Oh yeah, that one.
What are you talking about?
It's been an eventful few months, filled with a lot of unexpected encounters, Doctor, and we were hoping that you might be able to provide some guidance. I don't know if you're familiar with the Luminaries, if you're familiar with any of the background.
I don't know what a luminary is. Illuminated ones?
Yes, sir.
I don't know what that is.
Was there something specific, do you guys remember, that we were supposed to ask him?
Well, so we are supposed to be here looking for one of the mystical items, which we've sussed out to be a book.
Yeah.
What kind of a book?
One of spells?
Oh, you've come for the occult collection.
Possibly.
After this one, and he points a bony finger with like really long fingernails. He points a big bony finger right at Doc, and he's like, after this one, we've had to lock down the occult section. No one gets in without my approval. And I'm definitely not letting you in to the occult collection again.
I understand, but I had hoped you might let my colleagues.
At that moment, the phone rings. And he picks up the phone. Yes? Yes, Miss Phillips. Yes, very well. Yes, show her in. He hangs up the phone, and at that moment, the door opens, and a young woman who is probably the same age of all of you, like she's in her very early 20s, comes in. She's got long blonde hair. She's got brown eyes. She is dressed very smart. She is, maybe dressing maybe a little bit more modern than what people in Arkham would appreciate. She's wearing pants and a jacket, and her hair is kind of tied back in the back. She's a very, very pretty woman. And she walks in, oh, father, and then just as soon as she walks in and she sees you, Doc, what are you doing here? Ah, Sally, oh, it is so good to see you. Gentlemen, this is my daughter, Sally Armitage. Sally, you remember this Valentino, yes?
I don't believe we've met. Nathaniel Braxton's the name.
She nods at you, and she's just cold staring Doc. Like, you think that it's cold outside. The temperature in this room has dropped like 30 degrees since she's entered the room. No, what is he doing here? Nicholas, I think he needed to look for a book or something. Isn't that right, Nicholas?
Yes, sir. A specific tome.
Not after what he did. What did he do?
Yes, what did I do, Miss Armitage?
Oh, I'm sure. The stories have gone around. They found you performing an autopsy.
What?
With an axe. And the person wasn't even dead yet. How dare you show your face here?
Well, you have to understand, it's a matter of grave importance.
Father, is this man bothering you? Do I need to call the campus police? I don't know. Nicholas is a good boy.
Would it be of any relief if perhaps our friend here were not to peruse the books, if that would allow us a chance to look into this?
What do you mean, peruse the books?
We're looking for a particular volume, Sally. We need to find a particular book which may have cataclysmic consequences.
No, the Necronomicon is not for anyone's eyes anymore. That is locked. That no one beyond my father and the immediate staff at this university have access to the Necronomicon. So no, that book is off limits. I'm sorry. Father, didn't you tell them? No, I hadn't gotten around to that part yet. But I don't think they're looking for the Necronomicon.
I don't think we are either.
Father, we need to talk about this. This is a very bad idea.
Carlos, you remember. What did the rhyme say?
I'll go through the whole rhyme. In the land of the ancients where the stars align, 8 active artifacts of power shall the portal bind. 1 to speak with spirit is found in the crypt, 1 to shield from harm, 1 hidden in the ship, 1 to reveal secrets, and 1 to unlock charm, 1 to control elements, and 1 in plain sight. The last will be the hardest to be obtained from open fight. Together they hold the key to unlock the gate to Carcosa's twisted fate.
And do you read that out loud? Do you recite that out loud?
Yeah.
Carcosa, you say?
Yes, sir.
The Nazis are looking for these artifacts because they're trying to find a way into Carcosa.
What do you mean? What do you mean Nazis are looking for artifacts to open Carcosa? What do they need with that other world? This is Sally now, suddenly super honed into what you're saying, Carlos.
Yeah. Noted. But they are trying to get the Key of Solomon, which supposedly is in Carcosa. But the important thing, whether that's true or not, is that they are trying to get these artifacts for that reason. So even if this all turned out to be bunk, they're still going to come here and try to get them. We are working with an international organization that is specifically trying to prevent them from gaining access to these artifacts. We have already thwarted them in, 3 separate occasions?
Yes.
Why don't you roll a will plus persuasion?
Okay.
Nope.
D1.
I'm rolling, right?
Yeah, you are, because you're the one talking to her about this.
Can I use my subtle cues? Okay, I'll buy a free D20, so I'll roll 3D20. 1 success.
1 success. That's all you need. She seems very interested in what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
I know Time Magazine put Hitler on the cover, but I also have grown up listening to the stories my father told of what happened in Dunwich. And I've seen for myself the weirdness that has happened in this city. So if you're saying Nazis are coming here, that cannot be good.
I agree.
But I'm still not comfortable with him here.
Okay. So then my suggestion would be to take a lot of precautions. And I mean, we're fine to talk about this some other time. We're fine to keep maybe one or two people out of the conversation if that's what it takes. But right now, your collection's in danger, and anybody tied to the collection's in danger. Your father's in danger, you're in danger. The secretary out there is in danger.
Elias, what are you doing here? This is Armitage saying to you again, Doc.
Think he was just leaving?
You're darn right you're leaving. You should know better than to show your face at this university again.
Oh, Doctor. Always a pleasure.
Has he been acting peculiar since you've been here?
At least
he's been back and forth. Yeah.
He was himself.
Father, please sit down, Father. And she takes him back over to the desk and sits him down, and she pours him a glass of water. Here, drink this, Father. And she's like, we need to go out. Let's leave. Let's go. And she's ushering you out of the room.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're now back into the
waiting room.
The waiting room area. Courtney, could you please give us a moment? And Courtney Phillips looks at Sally Armitage and says, "Yes, Miss Armitage. Of course. I was not sure what to do. You did fine. You did fine, Courtney. No, there's nothing wrong. You did fine." And so Courtney gets up, and if it's okay, I'll just close out the rest of my day. Oh, yes, I'm sure that's fine. Just go ahead. It'll be fine. And so she grabs her sweater and her purse, and she heads out the door and closes it behind you.
My father fights his every fiber of his being from waving at her and saying, "Bye, Ingrid."
My father is not well. I think old age has gotten to his head. Sometimes he thinks he's living in the past, and sometimes he's present. It's more awkward in the afternoon than it is than the morning.
All right. Well, I apologize for having interrupted his nap. I think that's what ended up happening.
Yes. So, I'm very sorry about all of this, and I'm sorry. Just walking in and seeing you, Doc, has brought back a lot of very bad memories.
I understand.
This, though, is something that needs to be thought about a little bit more. And when my father is better, maybe that would be the better time to talk to him about these things. Nazis and portals and what did you say? Illuminatis?
The luminaries.
Luminaries. Secret society stuff is too much for him in the afternoon. I'm going to have to say no for now. I can't let you into the stacks. The information there is too dangerous. After the Waitley incident, after the West incident, and she looks at you, Doc, after your incident, we
may not have the time.
We've had to lock down that occult room, the occult collection. It's just not something that I can just give access to easily.
That's understandable. If we come back in the morning, would we be able to discuss it further?
That would probably be for the best. He'll be in a better mindset, I guess is the word I'm looking for, tomorrow. But now he's not going to be able to make good decisions right now.
That's fair. Yeah. I suppose we'll come back. Should perhaps our friend stay behind when we return?
It might be for the best. It seemed that he got set off when he noticed you.
It was also the most coherent he was during the entire conversation.
That's true.
It's the afternoon. It's late. He stays up way past his bedtime, and he gets up way too early, and he's here way too early in the morning to for his own good and for his health and his age. That I don't want to see him get agitated by you.
If I will stipulate that if you will agree to speak with my colleagues tomorrow and to take what they have to say seriously.
Tell me again the rhyme.
In the land of the ancients, where the stars align, 8 artifacts of power shall the portal bind. 1 to speak with spirits is found in the crypt. 1 to shield from harm. 1 hidden in the ship. 1 to reveal secrets. 1 to unlock charm, which we believe is the one that you may have in your collection. 1 to control elements. 1 in plain sight. The last will be the hardest to be obtained from open fight. Together, they hold the key to unlock the gate to Carcosa's twisted fate.
She's pulled out a little notebook and she's been writing all of this down.
Yeah.
Because she's not wearing a hat or a coat, and because of the way she's dressed, you can tell she probably works in the library.
Yeah, sure.
Mm-hmm. And you said luminaries. Are you sure it's the luminaries?
Yes.
At least.
And have you found any of these artifacts yet?
We have found a few.
And who are you working for exactly?
We're working for a joint task force with the American and British government.
Is there a name of this task force?
Is there a name to the task force? I don't know that we're allowed to say it.
Yeah, it would be Section M.
Yeah. Are we allowed to say that? Probably not.
I don't know. It's up to you guys to decide that.
I think secret British American task force is probably enough. So he'll say, yeah, when Doc says it's classified, Dutch will nod.
I've heard and seen bizarre things in Arkham, but this seems a little bit of a stretch.
I don't
Good night,
think
gentlemen.
all of these...
I will see you tomorrow.
It was a pleasure.
Oh, yes. Very much so.
And leave.
Oh, here. Dutch will write down the number to their hotel. Like, in case anything
Mikatonic 5666.
No, it's probably Miskatonic 24.
It's a small town.
An old town.
Yes. Probably would be good for you to not. We'll see you in the morning.
Sure.
And she ushers you out the door and locks the door behind you as soon as you go out.
Okay. Of the
Dr. Armitage's office.
Okay.
You're in the hallway of the Orne Library.
Okay. Let's walk and talk. I want to see if there's something around here that I left a while ago. And Dutch is going to go look for his paper.
Where are you going to look for it
at? It's a paper on language families. So they have like specifically a linguistics section.
Oh yeah, third floor is languages, foreign and domestic.
Yep. So he's just gonna go look through.
Yeah, sure enough. You go down there. There's someone who's there. This is Crystal Wiles. Comes up to you. Is like, oh, hello, gentlemen. May I help you?
Yes, I'm looking for a paper that was written in. I don't know what would have been an appropriate year, 1930.
36, 37.
Yeah. by Carlos Arbogast. It's on the Kurgan theory.
Kurgan theory. Okay, just have a seat over there. One moment. And she wanders off. And a few minutes later, she comes back with a bound book. It's fairly thick, maybe 90 to 100 pages in length. And hands it to you. Yes, we do have a copy here. And the title of it is The Kurgan Hypothesis, Proto-Indo-European Homeland Expansion.
Yep.
Is there anything else?
Stuff. No. Do they have a way of making copies yet?
No.
Okay. Then Dutch will note basically the Dewey Decimal system for it.
Okay.
And hand it back and say, I'll come back and read this. I just wanted to make sure that you guys had it.
She seems a little irate that that all you wanted was the
when I see her get irate,
system number.
When I see her get irate about it, he'll say, I am trying to talk to Professor I just lost it. What is
Armitage.
With Professor Armitage about it, and it's late in the day, and he is indisposed right now. Yes, we're coming back tomorrow, so I just wanted to make sure that everything was that all my ducks were in the row.
Okay. That's fine. Glad to be of service. And she kind of walks off a little bit irate.
Yep, that's all right.
You're on the third floor of the Orne Library.
Okay.
Cryptography, debate, literature, languages, all of this is here on the third floor.
Okay. So, gentlemen, want to go home, or is there something else you want to look up while you're here?
Cryptography. Do we know anything about the volume that we are expecting to find?
All you know is what Pontus had come up with, that he thinks that it's a book about that has incantations on how to open portals. That's all you would know on it. So it would be an arcane tome, and then you would also know, because of what you know about the luminaries, that this tome would be a really old book. So, if you were like, oh, what date would this book be published? Or if you were to actually get into the occult section, you would probably be looking for one of the older books in the collection. So that would help you narrow it down if you were looking. But to just go in and say, yes, we're looking for, obviously there are a couple of books like the Necronomicon and the treatises on, I'm forgetting the name of it now, but those are fairly well known and librarians would be able to access it. But to say, I'm looking for a book on opening portals, or to charm or whatever, they would be like, well, there's probably hundreds of books in the collection that reference that.
What if it's not in the occult section? What if this is too big of a library to just go blindly looking around.
I mean,
cryptography. Why does cryptography keep sticking in my head?
Because I don't know, how often do you think about the Roman Empire and how they use ciphers to send messages?
Yeah,
almost never.
Dutch will say we were just behind enemy lines. Like, we had to decrypt some stuff. That's probably why you're thinking about it.
Cryptography is about hiding information.
Right.
What if what we're seeking is actually not in the occult section at all? What if it's hidden somewhere else?
Okay. How would we go about figuring that out? As you pointed out, this library is enormous.
Yes, but we, the living, don't know nearly as much about the state of things as, say,
a ghost?
Perhaps so. Did you bring your mask?
Yeah, I'd keep it around.
Okay.
And yeah,
perhaps if Nathaniel
plan, if we can get access to see if there's anyone to talk to there.
Well, what if we just wandered into another section to see if there's anybody? I mean, there could be a ghost librarian.
I suppose. Free floating full body apparition.
Mm-hmm. Class 5 roaming vapor. There are a lot of possible ghosts that we could run into here. And if, theoretically, a Herbert West or a Dr. Wallace just happens to be wandering around,
I don't think there would be a Herbert West ghost wandering around, considering that he's probably still alive in Europe somewhere, working for the Nazis.
If there's a floating head with wings. Okay, all right. But yes, a ghost of someone. I say we should try and talk him about it.
All right, we can give it a go.
Yeah.
All right, where are you going to wander to?
Cryptography.
And he's feeling that cryptography section.
I am, and I don't know why. It's just I keep seeing that sign, and it's almost as though a pleasant baritone voice keeps repeating cryptography, 3rd floor in my head.
I would say cryptography is a bit of an interest of mine.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
All right, let's go walk over there. We'll try to block line of sight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you walk down to an aisle that is labeled cryptography, and it's like one aisle. It goes down quite a ways. There's probably each there are 7 shelves on each rack, and there are probably 10 racks or bookcases that extend down this row. It's not very big. There's math stuffs in here. There's stuff on languages. As I mentioned, there's several books on ancient Roman ciphers and coding. There do appear to be a couple of mathy nerds is probably the best way that I could describe it. They're really looking into the maths and talking with one another. It's like, oh yeah, did you know if we do this and then we do this, that would be, and one of them pulls out a slide ruler and is like, oh yeah, that would be very hard to crack. Yeah. And you can just hear him kind of buzzing about stuff. So there's like 2 math nerds in the stack of cryptography of one row of books.
Well, I'll try to get between them and Valentino, just in case they look over here.
Fair enough. All right, I'll slip the mask out of my jacket and put it on, and maybe start wandering the stacks. And
yeah, you look around, and yeah, looks like some of these aisles and some of these books haven't been dusted or touched in a while, but you don't really see anything in this section that is out of the ordinary.
All right. Well, can't say I'm seeing much right now, fellas.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think ghosts would hang around in cryptography.
What about languages?
The history section.
Ooh. Where's history?
History would probably be on the 2nd floor.
I'm going to read that sign again that says cryptography, Anaheim, Azusa, and Cucamonga. What did it say?
This section, cryptography, European literature, and languages.
What about European literature? Darn.
Yeah. The history section.
European history.
All right. So you go to the European history section. And yes, there are books and books and books. Every country has books. I mean, there are rows and rows of history stuff. There's natural history. There is other history. There's still other history of things that you didn't even know that you cared about. It's all here.
I'll try the mask again.
You put it on, and nothing. A young woman walks by and catches you all. She sees your mask and just gives you a weird look and kind of speeds up her walking.
Evening, ma'am. Yeah, I think we're gonna have to wait and see if we can get into the occult.
Well, that's all right. It was worth a shot.
Yeah.
Okay, so where are you guys going to head to?
Let's head back to the hotel.
Okay. As you head out the door of the Orrin Library, there's Napoleon again, and he kind of sits up and looks at you, Carlos, like, sandwich?
Reach in another pocket.
All right, this time, Bug Eater, you hold out your hand, and Napoleon reaches out to take the sandwich, and your hand comes away, and it's just covered in like a thick layer of slobber.
Poison
Give him a
dog
good old
lips.
pat on the side of the head, neck, scratch behind the ears. Yeah,
And then
you're
you
a good
hear,
boy.
and then suddenly you hear from around the corner, you hear like trash cans knocking over, and you hear, and Napoleon kind of turns around and looks, and you can hear him.
Oh, look over there.
Yeah. Let's go see what that was.
You go around the corner of the library where there is like trash cans, where there's refuse, and certainly one of the cans has been knocked over, and some trash is spilled out into the walkway area. But you don't really see anything. Napoleon has kind of still staring in your direction, but is no longer growling.
Probably a raccoon or something.
That's what I'm hoping.
And then further down between the buildings, another trash can knocks over, and you hear, and you see something dart across the area from one shadow to the other.
How big does it appear to be?
Small animal sized.
Okay. Yeah, maybe a raccoon or a weird dog or an opossum.
Yeah, or a cat or a rat.
Yep.
Yeah. There are some students that are walking by and they stop and, oh, hello. And there's two girls, two guys. Oh, I don't think we've seen you on campus. Certainly now that the holidays are here and the campus is emptied out. How are you?
Oh, we're fine. Actually, we were here to speak with a professor. We're not currently attending.
Oh, that's fine. There's no classes going on right now anyway. We're just here to, and they kind of snicker, catch up on some of our studies.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, don't study too hard.
And one of the guys who's kind of a jockey looking guy, don't worry, we won't.
All right.
And you kind of see him kind of reach into his Letterman's jacket pocket and shove what looks to be a bottle down.
Sure.
And the girls all, where are you from?
We're from all over, but I'm from Albany, and we just came from there.
Oh, Albany! My cousin's from Albany.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so great to meet someone else from Albany. And she reaches out to shake your hand. Oh, you've got a very firm handshake.
Oh,
and
yeah.
There's another girl who's just like staring at Bug Eater. Just staring at you, Bug Eater.
Give her a side eye, and
her face goes red and she looks down. Hi.
Aww.
Hello?
I'm Helen. Helen Hawthorne.
Let's go. We'll talk.
Let's go. She reaches out a hand for you to take and shake.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you take it and shake it?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, nice to meet you. Let's go.
Likewise.
How long are you in town?
You can
see
side glance at one of the other guys.
One of the jock guys, one of the other guys that are in the group. He's kind of looking at you like, "What are you doing, bruh?"
Yeah. How many guys and girls?
There's like it's like a group. It's like maybe half a dozen. There's like 3 or 4 girls, 3 or 4 guys.
Oh, okay.
They're all over the age of 18.
So where are you guys off to?
And then the Helen Hawthorne, she's like, "Oh, we're gonna go do a thing," and you hear everybody giggling. It should be really interesting and really fun. And then she looks at you again, Blisco. Maybe you'd like to come with us? And one of the jock guy is just like, you can see he's getting irate now.
I mean, we're done for the day here. If you want to go to a thing,
yes, well, there will be some other people there too. It should be really a lot of fun.
Yes.
Oh, that's great. And she pulls out a piece of paper and she writes down an address and gives it to you. The party's going to start in like 30 minutes. I hope that's not too short of notice for you to come. I hope.
We'll see if we can move his schedule around.
That's great. And then another one of the girls, this one's got red hair. She wraps her arm, loops her arm through Helen's arm. And it's like, come on. We got to go. And you hear Helen as she's running off. It's a good thing my sister's not here today. And they run off across the quad into the growing darkness.
Looks like you might have an admirer, Blisco.
Okay.
Do you want to go to the thing?
Yeah.
Did they not have things in Nebraska?
There's things, just
different things.
Probably.
Like
cow tipping? Is that?
That looks specifically like like a hoedown. Do they have hoedowns?
Oh. A hootenanny.
I've been to a few hoedowns, yeah.
Yeah. Or like a barn raising.
I think that may be more
that's more of a day's
Dutch
work.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought it was also a party. I don't know. I've been all over the place. I've traveled a lot, talked to a lot of people, but I've never raised a barn, so I'll defer to your expertise.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's go back to the room, figure out our plan for tomorrow, and then, if you want, we'll swing by the thing, and see what they're up to. Because, I mean, it's nice to have some contact with normal people that aren't completely involved in something horrifying. And B, we might actually be able to suss out some information if those guys are all students.
That was what I was thinking. They may know things that the faculty doesn't.
Or isn't willing to tell us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess.
All right. Let's go, Dutch will look, square up with Blisco, look at his face, and we're let's get you a comb and a midday shave.
Yeah, but now it's 4:30, so yeah.
Yeah, so
they got shave.
Yeah, 4:30 shadow.
Yeah, Doc has a 2-day growth already.
Okay.
You see a groundskeeper run by very quickly. He's got it's weird. It's the winter. There's snow on the ground. He's got a pitchfork, and he is running down that alley where you heard the noises from. Tarnation, I'm going to get that thing. And you just hear him muttering as he's running down the alley.
Not sure who I'd be rooting for in that.
Oof. I think he's got his work cut out for him. That thing knocked over 2 trash cans and they were full, so seems pretty strong. Or fat if it did it with its weight, and either way, that's not going to be easy. All right.
Trash thieves are a plague.
All right, well, let's get going then.
So you all pile back into the car and you start up, and as you drive away from the shadows comes a dark shape, a small dark shape with one yellow eye, and it stares at your car as it starts to drive away and slowly starts to fall. Critical Hit Punch All Nazis is a production of Major Spoilers Entertainment and was produced and edited by me, Steven Schleicher. If you would like to get a behind-the-scenes making of this episode, be sure to check out the GM Roundtable Octoon Cthulhu Edition at our Patreon page, patreon.com/Major Spoilers. Each week I discuss my plans for the upcoming game session, and Dr. Brad Will is there to share his reactions and advice on how to be a better game master. I will warn you, though, there are spoilers galore in every installment of the GM Roundtable Octoon Cthulhu Edition. So, if you don't like spoilers and don't want to know what I am planning next, don't listen to these episodes. Though, I will say, if you do listen, you'll be able to see how and where the players throw a wrench into my plans, and you're also going to have greater insight into the world that's being built into this campaign. Finally, we want you to record yourself doing your best on Critical Hit and send it to us at podcast@majorspoilers.com, and your voice will join the growing chorus of fans in upcoming episodes as well. Thank you again for listening this week, and here's hoping all of your dice rolls are critical hits.
Major Spoilers Podcast, copyright 2009. Major Spoilers Podcast, copyright 2010.
Major Spoilers is copyright 2011. Major Spoilers is copyright 2012. Major Spoilers is copyright 2013. Major Spoilers is copyright 2014. This podcast is copyright 2015 by Major Spoilers Entertainment, LLC. This podcast is copyright 2016 by Major Spoilers Entertainment, LLC. This podcast is copyright 2017 by Major Spoilers Entertainment, LLC. This podcast is copyright 2018 by Major Spoilers Entertainment, LLC. This podcast is copyright 2019 by Major Spoilers Entertainment, LLC. This podcast is copyright 2020 by Major Spoilers Entertainment, LLC. This podcast is copyright 2021 by Major Spoilers Entertainment, LLC. This podcast is copyright 2022 by Major Spoilers Entertainment, LLC. This podcast is copyright 2023 by Major Spoilers Entertainment, LLC. This podcast is copyright 2024 by Major Spoilers Entertainment, LLC.